We're following up now on a story that we first started covering several months ago. Massachusetts residents who use Eversource dealing with high energy bills this winter, and today Eversource held an event in Springfield to help those customers who've been dealing with exactly that. Western Mass News reporter Matt Price joins us live in studio with more. Matt?
Yeah, Chris, this is something that's been on top of mind for many based on the chilly weather we had this winter, on top of increased rates this season. Now, Eversource is looking to lead customers in the right direction when it comes to energy and their wallets.
Had to pay more, maybe because of the cold. It was challenging. It still is challenging.
Springfield's Herbert Eddy has been an Eversource customer since 1983, but unlike past winters, he has seen bills both for natural gas and electricity go up at a significant rate. Despite this month's 10% rate reduction by the Department of Public Utilities, Eddy says it's still hard for those living off of Social Security.
It is a financial strain, especially for the senior citizens and those who have to retire because of age or illness.
Other customers say the bills have been taxing in the past.
My gas was very high because I heat with it as well as cook.
Now, Eversource is looking to help those who are struggling. On Tuesday, the company held an in-person assistance event at the Raymond A. Jordan Senior Center to give customers proper guidance. This after Eversource says natural gas usage increased by about 19% this past January compared to January of last year.
We know that this winter has been tough on customers in the Springfield area with the high bills, and so we wanted to make sure we were here in person to help any customers who are struggling, just understand all the options that they have.
Throughout the afternoon, customer care representatives provided tips and solutions about what can be done to lower energy bills and avoid service disruption.
So we have information about our energy efficiency programs that are available to help customers reduce their consumption. We can talk through their eligibility for our discount programs that we have, which are income-based, of course.
All of this as state leadership, the Department of Public Utilities, and companies like Eversource have had talks to try to combat the issue. In fact, here's what Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll told our crews earlier this month.
Our staff are directly involved and engaged in that process, so we are in regular dialogue with utilities about how impactful this issue is and why we think it's important that they take action and take action now.
With Governor Maura Healey saying not enough is being done by the utility companies despite the reduction rates, here's where Eversource stands with those conversations.
And we're having really constructive conversations with the administration to look at all those different policy levers to make sure that the programs that we're delivering achieve the administration's and the Commonwealth's objectives while at the same time not being too burdensome on customers.
In the meantime, customers had some positive takeaways from their meetings and are hoping things get better soon.
The worst thing to do is have a large bill and then all spring and summer trying to pay it up, and sometimes you can't do that before it starts all over again.
Eversource hopes customers take advantage of the programs discussed today. For more information on those, you can head to our website, westernmassnews.com, or our app and click on the As Seen on TV button. As for both the governor and lieutenant governor, they recently revealed what they call their energy affordability agenda to provide immediate relief to customers. They also plan to propose legislation to advance energy affordability and independence. When that will come out is unclear, but stick with us both on air and online for that. Reporting live in the studio, Matt Price, Western Mass News.